what you guys did in the second half is fucking outstanding. Okay? And I'll say this, Pascal, 39 points, amazing game. But the mentality that you hit in the game, the way you stayed there, the way you were picking up your teammates, the way you were talking about next possession and not like looking at it in the scoreboard, fucking huge. That's fucking huge. Off the bench, Malachi, amazing. Got good minutes from Grady. You got good support there from Precious. Everybody helped. A little bit less talk over here. My guy, Chris Boucher.
You couldn't script a perfect roller coaster ride of a game like this if you wanted to. No OG Anunoby for the Raptors, who had a finger laceration after doing chores yesterday. No Gary Trent Jr. for the second game in a row, and the Raptors were coming off of an 11-day road trip, hoping to get an easy one against the Washington Wizards, but it was far from easy. In fact, it wasn't easy at all, and it came very, very hard. A 23-point miraculous comeback led by Pascal Siakam.
Against Dallas, we had Kyle Lowry did a kind of similar thing where he was just, we're not going to lose this game. And I felt like I saw that from Pascal, and he drove us all the way there. And, obviously it shows how competitive he is, but also, how much he cares about this team.
We fixed it at halftime when I talked to players, and I told them, I don't expect you to go out there and win the game, but I expect you to go out there and play with joy and play with fun and compete on a much higher level. And we did not do a good enough job in those aspects in the first time. They were getting way too easy to the paint. They were getting wide open looks. I just didn't thought that was our identity, and that's the way how we need to play.
The Raptors were down 19 points at halftime after playing probably their worst half of basketball all season. And that's saying a lot because they were just coming off of a blowout loss against the Boston Celtics. To put things into perspective, just to give you an example of how bad it was, the Raptors finished the first half with 2 made threes. They finished the entire game with just 4 made threes in the year 2023. They couldn't find offense anywhere, but Pascal Siakam scored 22 points in the third quarter alone to cut the Wizards' lead to 10 and give the Raptors a fighting chance.
I think just looking at everyone's body language, I just thought, like, obviously, like, you get down, you have the, you want to come back, and it's like every possession is like so, like, it feels like it weighs a lot, any mistakes, and it's like, like the crowd don't help you either. It's like, oh, and everything feels like, like you getting like stabbed every second, every time something happens. And I think for me, like, one thing I was trying to tell everyone is just like, we can't get it all back at once. Like, we have to take it one possession at a time.
Now, it wasn't easy for the Raptors in the fourth quarter. The Wizards brought the lead back up to 16 points before Pascal Siakam could sub into the game. But in that fourth quarter, Siakam didn't do it alone. Scottie Barnes and Chris Boucher came up with huge plays to bring the Raptors back.
There's a strategy behind challenges.
Denied by Boucher. Raptors trying to come from 23 down. Boucher changes that shot. Shot doesn't go. Boucher rising up and throwing it down. Barnes wants a screen. Goes right at Kuzma. Strong take. Avdia, the help comes. Scottie with the block in the takeaway. Siakam to Boucher.
And finally, with the Raptors and Wizards all tied up at 107, Toronto looked to Siakam one more time, and he delivered.
Here it is, Pascal has Poole. He's attacking. Shot good! 7.6 to go. Siakam in the lane, fading.
Yeah, like I work on that shot every day. Like I take that every day, and it's funny today. One of the coaches, Drew, like we was working out before the game, and even before the game, all the time we work out, and he always tell me like he would live with that shot, and I told him it's a bad way to live.
Toronto won thanks to 36 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals on 62.5% shooting from Siakam. Just a dominant performance for Pascal, who helped a Raptors team that was desperately searching for someone to give it a spark, and he did. Now, I'd be remiss without mentioning Scottie and Boucher, who were tremendous in the fourth quarter down the stretch, especially defensively, and that's what we're going to go into for the film room tonight, how the Raptors caught up in the fourth quarter and inevitably stole this game from the Wizards. Brother, what a game. Let's get into it. Okay, so very, very early in this quarter, Chris Boucher asserted himself, making a three-point shot. Great pass by Scottie Barnes to the opposite corner as well. This time, it's Scottie getting involved in this action, this time as a roller. Scottie is so talented as a roller. I really wish the Raptors use him more often in these situations. A great pass by Malachi Flynn as well. Scottie getting active on the defensive end. This is one of his 5 steals of the game. This time, it ends in a finish for Malachi Flynn. Again, just the defensive effort in that second half is what helped them get back into this game. Speaking of solid defense, Precious Achiuwa plays some pretty great defense on this possession here. As the closeout happens on Bilal Coulibaly, Precious Achiuwa gets in there to stop the drive. And sometimes even a late contest is enough to make a shot at the rim look bad. Here, Precious Achiuwa extends over the top, makes that Corey Kispert layup even harder. Scottie Barnes gets in there to save it, and the Raptors are off and running. And this is where I feel like Precious Achiuwa can be maximized on offense as a roller. And I think despite a pretty poor game from Dennis Schroeder tonight, he had a really nifty pass here to get it to him wide open. And Pascal Siakam was just doing this all night to Kyle Kuzma, just taking full advantage of no paint protector in there, and he was getting layups pretty much all night. Same thing here. This time Pascal takes, I believe, Landry Shamet all the way to the basket. Without Daniel Gafford, they really had no answers for Siakam in the middle. And this is a great defensive possession by Chris Boucher. Watch as he contains the Landry Shamet drive and then switches onto Denny Avdia for a beautiful block. This is incredible work by Chris Boucher. And this time he switches out to Jordan Poole, contains him on the drive, gets a nice contest on that shot. They counted it as a block, and the Raptors are off and running. Speaking of running and leaking out in transition, Chris Boucher was massive on that end. A huge dunk late in the fourth quarter to cut the Wizards' lead to 4. Here's another solid defensive possession by Chris Boucher, getting switched out onto a smaller guard. And watch as Pascal Siakam comes with the late contest. Again, just getting a hand up there might be enough to stop a shot at the rim or make it harder. Scottie Barnes here, 2 of his 19 points, but I just love when Scottie is aggressive like this, taking it to the rim. And again, without Gafford in the fourth quarter, the Raptors were having their way in the paint. And a great defensive possession by Scottie and Boucher here. They completely close off the pass for Avdia, who has nowhere to go. Scottie steals it. The Raptors are off and running, and Pascal Siakam, one of his 7 assists to Boucher for the layup. It's a tie game. And when it is a tie game, when the going gets tough for the Raptors, the guy you can rely on is Pascal Siakam. His potent mid-range jumper was really effective tonight, and he made him pay on the final possession. And that's how the Raptors came back from down 23 points to win against the Washington Wizards. Yes, it is against the lowly, rebuilding Washington Wizards, but at the same time, a win is a win. The Raptors are now 5-5 on the season, and ultimately, you know, if you think about process type of stuff and how things are supposed to look, I ultimately think no OG, no Gary Trent Jr., and you got good minutes from Grady Dick, which I didn't mention really here, but you got some really, really good minutes in the first quarter and in the second half from Grady Dick. Pascal Siakam looked as effective as ever. Scottie Barnes, despite not having the scoring output that he's had in this season so far, was incredible defensively and bought in on that end. Chris Boucher is clearly becoming one of the more important bench pieces for these Raptors, if not their most important bench piece this season. And I ultimately think it's just like figuring yourself out. These last 10 games or so have been a figure out period for the Toronto Raptors. Chris Boucher mentioned that post-game.
I mean, we're still learning. Like I said, everybody's learned from every part of the game. Obviously, we had the coaches, the players, But like I said, I think we're doing a good job. We're working hard. We're trying to, we're trying to help each other out. And like games like this, you see the work that we got to do, but also the potential that we have.
And so the process continues for the Toronto Raptors on Wednesday. They will take on the Milwaukee Bucks, which should be a fun one, followed by the Boston Celtics once again. Maybe they can get some revenge after looking pretty bad against them on Saturday. But we will see, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tapping into this recap. As always, if you're interested in the NBA world and anything we're doing on the NBA side, tap into the Objective Basketball Podcast. We do that twice a week, and you can check it on this YouTube channel, or come and check in and subscribe and do the things you guys want to anyways. Take care. We'll see you later.